So boom. I think where we left off, I was about to talk about that East Side game that we lost in the counties, which was the worst loss of my life. I mean, their team ended up winning the state, so it's not. They won the county and the state, right? I think lost in the championship of the COC, if I'm not mistaken. But they had Dave McSwain, they had Calvin O'Neill, they had Jeff Carswell. I know they had another big, and they had Steve. I forget what his last name is, but they had Steve on that team. So those are my AAU teammates. They all played for the Rams before they played for the Roadrunners. So I've literally they knew my game in and out, as did Calvin's dad, Yogi, rest his soul. He actually told them to jump me in the back court. Like literally, I couldn't, like, they were running two, sometimes three people at me to make sure that I passed up the court. And then we never ran an offense. And like Essex County College court was longer anyway. So we was dead tired. Like it was bad, man. And then I remember Keith Middleton, Jeff was like sick that game too. Keith Middleton came down and said, "You don't have to play for these guys. They're not going to play hard for you." I was so upset that day. Like in fact, I think I cursed him out. I think I told him to get the fuck out of here, some shit like that. But yeah, man, that was a bad loss. That and the state tournament, man, those were bad losses. Well, the state tournament wasn't as bad of a loss for me. This might be a little bit selfish, but like I had already, I already got into Wesleyan, knew I was going to play there. And I knew my career wasn't over. So I didn't feel as bad, I think, as others might have. I still was really upset at the loss. But I don't know. I guess I felt like they were just a better team than us. I think that they underachieved during the year and should not have
big as hell yeah. 6'9", 6'10", athletic.
Like we were the 8 seed and they were the 9 seed. They shouldn't have been the 9 seed in the state. Like they probably had academic issues and people couldn't play or some shit like that. But like, but they shouldn't have been the 9 seed. And I do remember that one thing I really wanted to do. I really wanted to play against Rodney and them in West Orange.
I did too. Yeah.
Number one, I shot so well in that West Orange gym, but that would have been fun, man. It would have been full circle. I know Rodney wanted to do that as well because he probably wanted to kick Coach Hill's ass if nothing else. But I don't know. I mean, overall, that senior year to me was a lot of fun. I think we won a lot of good games. I think that we had a lot of like our camaraderie. Like we liked each other a lot. Like that was, and so it's always fun to play on those type of teams, especially when you're successful. And I think that we had enough success and had tight enough friendships that we made it happen. I also think that one thing that helped us, we all played together that summer, right? Like we played with Memorial Park players, that summer, and we weren't very successful, but we gained a lot of chemistry.
Yeah.
In those tournaments.
So Yvon, your senior year comes, right? A lot of expectations. You know what I'm saying? You guys are the kings of the hills, and everybody knows who Jamil and Yvon are now. Explain to me what happened your senior year.
All right, so pretty much like you said, everybody know who we are, but me and Joe, all we do is work harder. So we actually felt as though we were the underdogs coming into the season because everybody was always so big on East Orange and Seton Hall with Ashton Gibbs and just like nobody ever respected us because we were Columbia and we were from the suburbs, you know what I mean? So we had to gain a lot of respect. So coming into our senior year, our whole summer, we ran the whole table the whole summer. Like we didn't lose not one game the whole summer. We won every summer league. We won every fall league, every tournament that we played in. Like we were undefeated. And then I guess starting our senior year, you were on the coaching staff. We started running the table. Like we started off. I'm not sure who we had like a mediocre Livingston for the first game just to get us warmed up. We got them out of here, smacked them by like 20. Then the next night We had to play Ashton Gibbs on his opening day at Seton Hall University. He's going to Pittsburgh. Everybody thinks they about to smack us. We come in there, we take care of business. Oh, it's an upset of the world. Not to us though, because we've been running the table the whole summer. So that win right there pretty much put us on the map and put us on everybody's radar. So I guess a few games later we had to follow it up and play East Orange. And Jamil Grace, of course, by the grace of God, ends up hitting like half court buzzer beater to win the game, the walk off, and that's when we started rolling. We started running the table. We end up going probably what 22-0, 23-0 before we lost our first game. We was rated number 7 in the state, and then we end up going to like I think it was Mount Olive, or they came to us. And we end up losing to Mount Olive because, of course, you know, you always overlook teams. You're like, oh, these teams is terrible. Like, we ain't getting up. But then we had to prepare for, like, West Orange in the Essex County tournament or something. Yeah. So we end up losing to Mount Olive. Then, of course, we take our rage out on West Orange. They came to our building, got them out of here, smacked them by, like, 20. Go to the quarterfinals of the Essex County tournament. We got to play Seton Hall again. Seton Hall actually beat us the second time we played them, so it was like our third time. It was like this one's for all the marbles. Of course, we made in the quarterfinals. We end up having a phenomenal game. It was just like one of those back and forth games. Unfortunately, we end up losing to Ashton Gibbs, who had like an amazing run. He hit like maybe like 7 shots in a row to come back, and they ended up beating us. And we were like to this day that just always hurt me because I'm like, yo, like I feel like our lives was like changed from that game. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a big game. I remember Coach Hill made a big decision to down 1, hold the ball for the last shot. That's a lot of confidence. And I mean, we had like great. But I don't think Michael Jordan's holding the ball for the last shot down 1.
Not with like 15 seconds. We had like 15 seconds left. Of course, Coach Hill decides to hold the ball. Of course, Seton Hall coach out-coaches Coach Hill, and they had fouls to give, so they end up fouling us with like 6 seconds to go, and then they still had a foul to give. The next shot, Jamil ends up taking some radical shot because of the circumstances. And we end up losing the game, which was terrible. But of course, we get prepared for States because you know how States is right next to the county tournament. If you play long in the Essex County tournament.
Exactly. So you go now, you're going against Union, and you got like Sean and these dudes, and they upset you. So what happened when they upset you guys?
Honestly, like. It came down to them being more physical and prepared than they. Like the game before they played us, they played American Christian. American Christian had the number 1 player in the country, which was Tyreek Evans, and multiple Division I athletes on their team. Meanwhile, our preparation game is playing like Belleville and shit. So automatically, it was like a big difference of like just competitive level. I mean, so we end up losing the Union, and they came in, they scorched us. They hit like their first 6 threes. Like we were trailing the whole game, so it was like it was never even a game. And like in the States was usually the time I turned up. I remember my junior year, I had like 33 and like a triple overtime game against Behringer, and I'm like, yo, like if we don't win this next year, like what the heck? Like, you know what I mean? But I feel like, I always say this, first of all, we would have won every county tournament from our sophomore year through senior year if science never stole K-San from us, all right?
That's a fact, actually.
Because K-San, he was with us. We was running the table with K-San. You know, K-San had his issues. He had to move out of the county. Of course, you know how Columbia always, if you don't live in Maple or South Orange, you can't go to our school. So he had to leave. He went to science. Of course, science they capitalized from K-San because they go on and win like 4 group titles, and I feel like he's the most underrated player on their team. Even though they had Booby and Fat Man and Rob Bird, they had a lot of tough players. But K-San was just one of those unique players. Like you can put him in any system and he gonna jab.
Yeah.
And after us losing to Union, like of course you gotta go through your college phase. Me personally, I ain't had no grades or whatever. So I had offers, but I ain't have grades. So I had to do the prep route and go to NIA Prep. And NIA Prep, they pretty much I had to take the courses that I failed or didn't do good in at NIA Prep. So this is how dedicated I was to basketball. Like, I was going to Columbia High School during the day, and then in the evening I was going to NIA Prep just to get my grades. So I didn't do the summer school thing, but I did the night school thing, right? So I got my grades back, got qualified, and then I got to pick and choose what colleges I wanted to go to. First, I committed to some school in Oklahoma. I don't know who. I was just happy to have offers. You know what I mean? And then I guess Ryan Bacon hit me up, and he was already at St. Peter's, and they had a pretty good solid squad for me coming in. So I'm like, yo, me and Ryan, we already played at Columbia together, so why not? Let's run it back. You know what I mean? Oh, don't forget our senior year, we did win the conference though. We did win the conference. I mean, we put a banner up because a lot of people forget that. A lot of people be talking all this, Yvon and Jamil, they are, but nobody before us put a banner up for like 40 years.
Now since like 84 or some shit like that.
Yeah. So all that, whoever be talking this, Yvon, Jamil, they okay, but y'all had a chance to put a banner up, y'all ain't do it, so I don't even want to talk.
Nah, you're right. But in our defense, though, Seton Hall Prep, when you guys played Seton Hall Prep, they were like number 10 in the state. When we was playing Seton Hall Prep, they were number 1 in the country.
Yeah, it was
a little bit of a difference. You know what I'm saying?
Bit. Even though we should have beat them. We should have beat them our senior year at home. We should have.
Yeah.
We played out of our minds. But
yeah, that was the game I went off, man.
Nutter and all them?
Yeah, Nutter, Busby, Shale was on that squad.
Yeah.
So I remember those 3. But
most definitely. So you've Doug, let's get to this, right? So you've seen a couple years probably before us, maybe a Columbia high school basketball. And you saw the games when I was coaching some of those, and you saw teams when your brother was there and all that, right?
Yep.
I need your top 3 players, guards, that you have seen.
Top 3 guards. Obviously Jamil. Jamil is the top guard. Yvon, are you a guard? You know what? I'm gonna move you over. You are, but I'm not gonna include you because I know the bigs is coming, and so yeah. So we're not gonna put you on that list here. Yvon is I'm sorry, Jamil's definitely the best guard that I've seen come through. And then you got Desmond Morgan was just so strong. Like he could do everything on the court. I think he was a casualty of coaching as well. He should have been a Division I basketball player.
All this time I thought he was. I thought he went to Stony Brook.
He went to Stone Hill, D2. Listen, free college is free college though. That's
right.
Brian Crawford always said that. Listen, make basketball pay for your education. Yeah. That was, that was always the goal. You know what? I'm going for the home team. My brother is a top 3 Columbia guard. That's my choice, and I'm sticking to it.
You gotta do that. Kenny was on my team.
Yeah, Kenny was. Listen, Kenny was a difference maker on your team.
Overwhelmingly difference maker. I mean, I wish we had Kenny when he was like a senior. I wish we all came up together.
He was like a year older, right? Yeah, listen, there was a time. Kenny's senior year. I think he had like 21 one game, right? And I was like, yo, you need to score more. He's like, huh? I was like, you need to score more. Next game he had 27. The next game after that he had 31.
Right. Kenny was a
Like that.
gun. Kenny's still a gun.
He's still going, right. Kenny, one of his casualties of his game was me. And that's because I was so unselfish. That's what he saw. And he didn't take over enough. He lost all that. Now he be going. But he never took over enough. I think that took away from his development and his and his overall game. But I think Jamil, Dez, and my brother. That's what I'm going with.
Okay, and Vaughn.
Yeah, honestly, of course, gotta say Jamil. Jamil is like he's unanimous. You're first ballot. I mean, of course, I'm gonna go with myself because I feel like, no offense, I feel like nobody can see me like offensively or defensively like on the court at my prime in like my senior year or my junior year. Like I don't care who you put in front of me. Like it's just no. And then I never seen Desmond Morgan play. You know what I mean? It's honestly a toss up for me. Like I can only say who I've seen. It's honestly a toss up for me with Justin Martin and Mike Runcie. You know what I mean? Those dudes is tough, man. You know what I mean? I like Mike a lot. You know what I mean? He was one of those dogs, like a fearless kid. Even Justin's so quiet, but he was one of those fearless kids as well. I mean, and it showed. So if I can have like two guys in one, I would pick those two. if you gotta exclude me, I would say Jamil, Justin, and Mike.
That's fair.
All right, Doug, let's go to the forwards now.
So as far as forwards go, I'm gonna go with Yvon because when I coached Yvon on the Rams, he was a 3. So that's the front court. So I'm going with Yvon. And I think you played 2 through 4 at Columbia
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
That's just a high school game, right? It is what it is. You just, if you're 6'2", you out there playing a 4. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely Yvon. Kason, and I'm glad you brought him up because I was gonna bring him up too. Kason was so good, man, and he was selfless. He didn't need anything. If you wanted him to get 15 boards, he'll just go get the boards. If you wanted him to score, he'll score. And frankly, he was at our crib a bunch. He was just a nice kid. Like I was always happy to be around him. But Kason was nice. He was dead nice. And then Ryan Bacon did what he wanted on the court. To the point where it's like he was a bit lazy, man. He was so talented that like he would turn it up like this. There was times where I was like, yo, go. And then it wouldn't be until the next quarter we'd be like, okay, time to turn it up, and he would turn up. So I think Ryan Bacon was, he might be the best like big.
Holmes named him the best big.
Yeah, he was because he had good footwork. He had that mid range. He kept the ball high when he rebounded. Like he was naturally like there were things that he did, and I remember him when he was smaller than me, right? Because he was Eric Holmes' nephew, right? Mm-hmm. But there were things he did naturally that he didn't need much polishing, which might have led to him being a little lazy because he was just always better than niggas. But yeah, Ryan Bacon was he was nice, bro.
Yvon, what you got?
Yeah, I definitely got Ryan as my number 1 forward for sure. Like Ryan was so nice. Like he like walked into St. Benedict's. Like like you know what I mean? Like people don't get to play for St. Benedict's in their prime. Like Ryan was one of those.
Ryan Bacon put my AAU team on the map. He was the first person. He chose to play with me. You know what I'm saying? Keep it whole. And he was the first person. I remember he played a kid that was supposed to be going to UConn up in D.C. at the Charlie Weber. And he dominated this kid so bad, yo. He had D1 coaches coming into McDonald's on the low. Like, I'll sign you right now. Sign with me right now. I've never seen anything like that before. That shit was so crazy, bro. It was like a Ryan Bacon bonanza up there. Coaches following him to McDonald's, all types of stuff, bro. It was crazy. It was nuts. You know what I'm saying? And he put my team on the map with that. You know what I'm saying? And then afterwards, you know, we did nothing but get better. But, you know, but he's the one that put me, you know what I mean? He's partly responsible for my career, to keep honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
That's big.
Yeah, but go ahead, Yvon. I didn't mean to cut you off after one.
No, it's all good. No, Ryan Bacon for sure. Right, I got another sleeper for y'all. I don't know if y'all remember my junior year and sophomore year and junior year, we had a kid named Namdi Ike. Namdi, he was like 6'2", power forward bucket. All right,
he finished everything. Pretty much finished everything.
He pretty much averaged 20. He was
your leading scorer that year.
Yeah, he was the reason why we made it to the Essex County.
So he received a lot of passes, a lot of layups from Jamil. But yeah,
of course, that's true too. But you got to finish those layups. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're
right. And then I definitely got to put K-Son in there as my right hand man. He was a game changer. I mean, if Jarrell's career would have kept on going, Jarrell Carter could have been one of the best Columbia power forward to play, but he only played like 1 or 2 years, so never. Is
that Jay-Z's nephew?
Jay-Z nephew. Jarrell was tough, but I like K-Son, Namdi, and Ryan Bacon. That's what I'm taking.
Okay, now I'm gonna do some fill in the blank questions for y'all. All right, Doug, I'm gonna start with you. Okay. The craziest memory I have from a Columbia practice is.
From a Columbia practice, I think. After we lost to Roxbury in JV, we didn't have no basketballs in that in that practice with Coach Chat. he literally and he was so, you know, his demeanor, right? Like he could turn up, but he was like pretty chill. He literally was sitting there with the clock, 1 minute, ladies, and we ran full court fives until he got tired. That man, that yo, we should have never lost Roxbury. But Doug, I was embarrassed. I was tired. That was a bad practice, man. Like we were yelling at each other. Yeah, I'll go with that one.
All right. Yvon, I know you got some stories, bro. You know what I mean? What happened at practice? Let me know.
Yo, honestly, like it's like I'm running a blank right now. But some of my favorite practices was when like older guys like you, like or B-Nix or like Aaron, and would come down and try to play us. And you know, when you older, they always think that they can bully you and shit. And just going at them and getting that type of experience, those was like priceless moments. You know what I mean? And then there's been times where I'm getting kicked out of the gym because my passion for winning succeeded what our coach's passion was.
Passion for winning. Sounds like immaturity to me.
I mean, I can say it's immaturity. It's immaturity to an extent because at the end of the day, if you're a coach, you're supposed to be able to manipulate my mind or just be able to like talk to me in a manner where I understand where you're going or what you're doing. But if I'm able to talk to you any type of way, or automatically like there's a problem. You know what I mean? If I don't feel no fear, or if I'm feeling like I'm running things as a player, like come on, like who wants to play for a coach like that you feel like it's beneath, not necessarily beneath you. I don't even want to use those type of words, but just like it's your equal, like you know what I mean? So it's like it was just like some tough times.
Yeah, okay. But Doug, the illest crossover I saw in the game was
Phoenix on what was homie name? They
Fleet.
made 4 for 2.
Fleet.
Yeah.
That comes up a lot on this podcast.
Yeah, that was easy. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give another one though. And I'm gonna big up myself. When in West Side, when I hit Country with a curl, and he came out of his shoe and he left it at half court. that was my personal favorite move that I made. I think I made some kid fall on Randolph too in JV, but I hit Country with a curl, and then he was still trying to defend me without a shoe on, but he slipped because he had no shoe on. I took it in. I gave an assist to Namdi at the end of the play, but I forget who caught it in the crowd, but somebody pointed out his shoe at half court. That was fun.
Yvon, the illest crossover you seen in the game was?
Honestly, it's probably against us when John Wall was just going crazy.
We crossed you and you clapped.
I first of all, I feel like John Wall made his name against us that specific game. Like nobody knew this kid. I guess we're in the semifinals of the RAC tournament for Rutgers fall basketball AAU, right? John Wall coming down, he's moving like 50 miles per hour. I'm thinking I could be anybody in the world. I'm like, I don't even know this kid. I'm like, who is this kid? We better than these guys. Man, John Wall tortured us for like 45. He had me clapping my hands on defense, not on purpose, me trying to steal the ball, whatever. I'm like, yo, after that, all of a sudden, #1 ranked junior in the nation, John Wall. I'm thinking specifically because of us.
I remember that, yo. I remember I was coaching in there, and I just couldn't stop laughing, son. That was the funniest crossover I've ever seen in my life, yo. I've never seen somebody make somebody clap. I was laughing for probably at least 2 minutes. I couldn't even coach. That was crazy, yo. All right. Doug.
Yes, sir.
One story I remember riding the bus at Columbia is.
So I mean, I'm gonna double down on what they were saying on past ones when Dez tried to beat up Rodney. There's no. Oh wait, no. You know what? No. So first of all, yes, that's the funniest one, and I guess that all stemmed from Fritz anyway. But that's a whole nother story. But when Darian was late for the bus to see
Gunner scared.
And he was like, and Bill was like, Gunner's scared. Gunner's scared. You see, Gunner's not here. Gunner's scared. We left him. We left him. Yo, you're fine. You're fine. First of all, and everybody listening, you know where the bus used to be at in the in front of the Board of Ed, right? Darian lived 2 houses over. He literally went to go get something from his crib, and Bailey was like, Gunner's scared. Gunner's scared. He won't be here. Dog, that's still to this day one of the funniest things I think about every once in a while.
Yeah,
that shit was funny.
Yvon, the funniest thing I remember from the bus is.
Yo, honestly, I don't really got too many funny memories. Like after losses, we had to be quiet on the bus. Like,
oh, these dudes is corny, Doug. I could give you 20 off the top of my head. We was busting oranges over dudes' heads.
We was playing the penis game after losses. Penis, like that shit was like. Pause, by the way, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. I had too many of those.
Maybe that's why y'all was more successful than we were.
Yeah, right. They were more focused. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm gonna start with you on this, Yvon, because I know you was a vivid. You was a. It might have been South Orange Rec for you, but did you go to Memorial Park and South Orange Rec?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Here's what I need. I need the craziest story that you've seen. I mean, that you can recall from South Orange Rec or Memorial.
Craziest story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing like Royal Rumbles at Memorial Park. But probably some of the craziest. All right. There's this one time, the dude Daylight. He a rapper now. He's one of those. He's one of those
battle rappers.
Battle rappers now. But there was this one dude. He was best friends with the dude that came to Memorial Park. They like happened to just be nice as hell. Like he was going. You know how game would be like 11. He would go for like 8 for 11. He was tossing me alley oops and shit. I'm like, yo, who the hell is this guy? Of course, he got the face tattoo. So you like, yo. At first, you like, oh shit, niggas is wild. Like, what's going on? Like, yo, who is this guy? You fucking around, kill me. And then all of a sudden, he ended up getting nice. Like, so I remember they like coming to Memorial Court, like just going crazy, like on the basketball tip, man. And I didn't even know who he was until later on in our lifetime, and I seen him, and I seen his face, and I seen like, oh, he was actually like a celebrity. No wonder he had a tattoo on his face. Like, yeah, that's probably some of the craziest times I've seen at Memorial Park. Just besides like all the fights that happened through like basketball.
Okay. Hey, Doug, what about you, man? I know either Memorial or South Orange Rec, you got a crazy story.
So,
we all been there.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, you know, there's always battles at Memorial, but the funniest and craziest moment for me was at South Orange Rec, where it was this dude. He was dark skinned, skinny dude that went to Essex Catholic. He could shoot. He was around our age. I forget his name though, but he would always be at the rec. He would be at Memorial. He'd be playing with us a lot. Quiet dude. He would just go out and do his business, do his numbers. He was killing somebody, and for some reason he was talking shit that day. Well, that's somebody. I don't know who that somebody is, but that somebody was like, "Yo, you're gonna stop talking shit. You're gonna stop, trying to show me up." And so, yeah, what you gonna do? Dude slapped him right in his face, right? And that guy, instead of fighting back, he ran. He just ran.
I know you saw. That's the kid from Montclair, right?
I think so.
He ran across the field.
Yeah, he ran across the field. He got slapped in his face, looked around, and just started jamming. I was like, yo.
One more, yo.
I think that ended the games too, because everybody was just laughing for the rest of the time. I ain't never seen no punk shit like that before. Like, he didn't even get punched; he got slapped.
He ran. From Montclair. But go ahead, Yvon.
One more, yo. All right, so we at South Orange Rec. This is when South Orange Rec is fresh, brand new. They was having basketball tournaments. You know what I mean? All the top players. If you're a top player, you come to South Orange Rec. So Kyrie Irving, at the time, he lived around the corner in West Orange. So he is fresh from McDonald's All-American like basketball practice. Like they just had the game, so everybody know who Kyrie is. Yo, so Kyrie it happened to me, Kyrie, Eli Carter, and like David Laurie on the same team, which is ridiculous. So freaking, we playing against like some Newark hood dudes that came up there because they heard Kyrie playing. The Newark dudes always want to be tough and shit. So nobody was like backing down. People clapping in front of Kyrie's face, all this extra stuff. At one point, Kyrie hit a jumper in somebody's face, and one of the Newark dudes ended up getting so tight he kicked the ball. But instead of the ball like flying across the court, the ball ends up hitting Kyrie directly in the back of the head. And I'm like, yo, nah, the money, like, you about to go to the NBA, dude, like, you kicking balls. Yo, Kyrie gets so heated. Like at the time when you're a young kid, you think everybody from Newark is a gangster. Like so you like nah, like chill, bro. Like they probably do something. Yo, Kyrie gets so tight, bro. We didn't lose the next 15 games, bro. He was going bonkers. Like this is probably the first time I think somebody scored 40 in the basketball court. For real, yo, it was crazy. I'll never forget. He did this one move where he was coming down fast break. All of a sudden, like you know how the defender always try to like just come ahead of you. Like he crossed the ball between his legs so fast and finished it on the left hand side. Yo, I'm like, yo, he is so
different. Different. That's crazy. So, Doug, this is the last question, man. I just want to know, give me your most disappointing player from Columbia.
Most disappointing player. Jeff Middleton. Listen, I like Jeff, but I wanted more. He probably say the same thing about me though. So but yeah, man, like he was 6'9", could shoot, but he just never had it. And for me, yeah, man, that was he disappointed me often. So that's my answer.
Yvon, who you got?
So as I got older, I got a more of an understanding of this. But like, I feel like the most disappointing player to me is Phoenix because I looked up to Phoenix as a young kid, like playing basketball, and I always thought of him being like an NBA guy. You know what I mean? So for me, the way his career path went was like I just never understood his career path. And as good as he was, like in like high school, which he was a phenomenal high school player, like the rest of his career path, like really like disappointed me because I thought of him as like one of those heroes when I was growing up. You know what I mean?
Yo, I want to defend V because I feel like that's a
That's
that's a
everybody's
common
answer, right?
answer,
Yeah.
right? That's been a common answer. I
Yo,
think one of the most unfair things was that V couldn't play our senior year because of his age and his
right.
birthday. And what's crazy is that Jesse Holly is only like, he's only 28 days older, 27 days older than Phoenix.
Right.
But he beat the cutoff. If we had Phoenix our senior year, I think we would have been a lot better of a team.
Right.
We would have went further. And I think Phoenix's career would have made it to that next level because the winners are the ones that get recruited.
Right.
We would have won a lot more. You know what I'm saying? We would have been in a position.
Yeah, that's something I didn't know. You see,
But he couldn't. We were all devastated by that. That decision because we were really like we had a great summer all together.
Yeah,
we were
exactly.
everywhere. We finally I played half with the Rams and half with Memorial Park players that year. Normally I was only playing with the Rams, but I did half and half so we can gel, and we were gelling.
Right.
And then we got the news that V couldn't play, and that was devastating to us. Obviously more devastating to him, but I think that's the thing that made his career not be able to go to that next level that we all see because everybody's senior year is the most important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's something I didn't know. Like, I mean, how am I supposed to know he didn't play your senior year?
Know your hero. No, I'm kidding.
All I know is throughout life, like
Sure.
how we got him. You know what I mean? So it's not. It's more so of a. It's kind of like a compliment.
Right.
Yeah.
You muted, Eddie. Eddie, you mute.
My bad. Yeah, it kind of is like a backhanded compliment. Yeah, you're right. But we only got 1 minute and 15 seconds, so I need like a 20-second answer from all y'all. All right. I just need you to fill in the blank for me. Okay. The best player I've ever played against in a Columbia uniform is.
Yvon, go first.
Ashton Gibbs.
Dave McSwain. Super Dave was so good.
Yeah, right. I feel like Jamar Nutter probably would have been, or Dreha probably would have been the biggest, the most popular answer. But the way he played us, I would have to go probably with Dave McSwain too.
Oh, he's a monster.
Whatever happened to that dude, by the way?
We'll talk about that offline.
Okay.
David Lowry.
Listen,
David Lowry, bro. Can't put it David Lowry.
David Lowry. All right. But look, I want to thank y'all both for coming out, man. Thank you for making this episode, man. I appreciate it. Y'all was great. Salute to both of y'all. Yvon, you're one of the best players ever put on a Columbia uniform. You know what I'm saying? Doug, you're one of the best minds ever put on a Columbia uniform. You know
Appreciate
what I'm saying?
that, bro.
So, I've been playing with you since you were a kid. You know what I mean? Know the game like back of your hand. You know what I'm saying? One thing I do regret is we never got to coach together too.